One of the defenses that he may have to this, and if I was his attorney, I would use, he created that song because when she disappeared, everybody blamed me.
Real life. It ain't real life. Just a real life street Starz. You know what time it is.
But speaking of, there's another case that's out there that's kind of crazy, right? It's just the singer named David, right? And it's a really interesting case because the kid's a singer, right? He meets this girl who happens to be underage. I don't know if he knew she was underage or not, but that is the story. She ends up missing for, I think she said over a year and a half. They find her body in the junkyard because it smells. He's on tour. Next thing you know, they're pulling him off a tour. It becomes this big headline story. Now they're pulling up old clips of him and her on stream. They're questioning, was she pregnant? And then you've seen the story. So everybody's first thought is, why isn't his ass in jail? That's the first thing everybody's asking, right? This guy is walking free. It looks like an open shut case. They found it in your car. The girl was underage. It seems like there's a motive. You drop a song on her death day or her birthday or something like that called Homicidal Love or some crazy stuff like that. It just seems like all the pieces would be there, but he's not in jail. Why is that?
Because you have a smart prosecutor. Smart prosecutors are prosecutors you really need to worry about. Prosecutors who want to be on TV talking about they're bringing justice and all of this and something just happened, a good part of the time they end up having to walk that back. And so you want to make sure that you have a solid case. They said it was his car. The car was once registered to him. How do we know he didn't buy it for a family member? How do we know that she wasn't potentially in blessings and grace to her family in this time in what they're doing? And so my statements are not to say anything about this young woman because I don't know her, but I'm just giving out hypotheticals. So I want to throw that out there for the audience. But we're talking about relationships and people, and we know scenarios like this. So What if he gave the car to a family member and she was potentially dating one of his cousins? What if the cousin did it, right? Or his man's? What if one of his guys did it? You don't know. And so you would hate to go out there and put all the spotlight on David and only to find out that someone else did it.
But when you drop a song called, what is it called? Homicidal Love, Romantic Homicide. And when you drop these songs that they almost sound like admission of guilt. You know what I mean? When you do things like that and you leave these breadcrumbs and these trails, you almost make yourself a target.
We talked about that. But on the flip side of that, one of the defenses that he may have to this, and if I was his attorney, I would use, he created that song because when she disappeared, everybody blamed me. And so I made this hypothetical song up based on the fact that y'all blamed me anyway. I didn't do it. I'll make a song about it and make money because you're going to listen to it on stream because I made it.
But just think about this from a human aspect, right? The love of my life is missing for a year and a half and I'm just on tour like shit ain't happening. like that doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Look, man, the human mind, everybody's an individual.
Yeah.
Everybody's an individual. You get some people who've been married, their spouse died, they never get remarried. Right. You get some people, their spouse died, they're dating the next month.
Damn.
And so, who's to say who's right and who's wrong?
Right.
That's an individual journey that someone should take.
I want you to play prosecutor and I want you to play defense. Okay. On the prosecutor side, what would your argument be?
As a prosecutor,
yeah.
As a prosecutor, I'm doing some of the things that I told you guys about before. I'm looking up any and everybody. I'm having my investigators. I said, find any and everybody that was connected to him and find someone who may have been in jail around that time. Give me their jail calls. I want you to analyze their jail calls. I want you to see if there's anything that talks about or even hints at payoff, money, hiding something, putting something away, or getting rid of something. Find me those jail tapes. I want you to put it in AI, let it run, and let me see if there's anything there. After that, I'm going to find and look for anything and ask, when was the car missing? Why was it in the junkyard? Did he sell it? Who did he sell it to?
It was in a Tesla too. So wouldn't it be recorded?
Who knows? But I'm going back for all of that information. I'm getting, every car has a black box. On that black box is GPS. Tells you rate of speed, address, the whole nine. I'm getting that black box, and right now we're going through it, right? If it's a Tesla, I don't know if they connect the phone lines for Wi-Fi purposes or what. I'm looking for triangulation of where this car may be in conjunction with what's going on with the car. I am going to develop a case so solid that when it does jump off, regardless of how people feel about him, regardless of my jury pool, it's going to be so solid that when I provide my evidence, his lawyer is going to tell him to plea.
And what would his plea look like? Like if you were pushing for a plea, what would you be pushing for in that scenario? Life in prison. On a plea? Damn. Because if he doesn't plead, would it be like he gets sentenced to death penalty or something?
The advantage, if it is true and she was pregnant, you give me a jury with a mother on it because really the person who's going to prevent and ask or not vote for, or the percentages of a woman saying that she won't vote for the death penalty is higher than a man. And so if I tell you you killed a 15-year-old pregnant woman, I think at that point I can get a mama to pull the switch.
Well, yeah, and just the fact that he was with a minor is a charge too, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's committing a crime on top of a crime on top of two crimes. And so that's what I would do as a prosecutor. As a defense attorney, I'm doing the same thing. I'm sitting down with my client and I'm telling them, look, man, yes, no, indifferent. Tell me who out there I need to worry about. Who out there I need to worry about? You know what I'm saying? And let me go from there. Because it's not really my job at a certain point to elicit, or compare his facts to their facts. My job is to show that their facts don't jive. Because people always think, kind of like in the Julio Fulio case.
Yeah.
The young woman who's on trial now.
Yeah.
You listen to her attorney. She told them everything. You know what? She's still going to trial for life. They say they're not going to seek the death penalty, but they are seeking life. She told them everything. She told her side of the truth. Okay. All right. Thank you. 10% of what you said jive. But the other 90% tells us that you did know what was going on. So we're going to move forward. Shut your mouth. Shut. Rule number 1, 48 hours. Everybody that they put in them rooms that don't say nothing, it always says, this is an ongoing investigation. Everybody's considered innocent until proven guilty. That's how that one goes. Everybody that talks, so-and-so sentenced to 22 years or pled for life. They go to jail. Shut your mouth.
It's funny. I want to ask you like a couple myths. So another one is, if I admit to a crime to my lawyer, does that break client privilege? Because I think we experienced this with what's those little brothers, the Menendez brothers or something like that, where I think she testified against him, right? Didn't the therapist or somebody?
Therapists is gonna snitch all day, every day. Therapists is gonna snitch all day.
So they don't have any client privilege?
No. Once again, it goes to any time that the law is being broken. That bond is ripped apart. It doesn't fly. And so the issue with that and an attorney, I have taken an oath that courtroom, I'm not finna get in there and lie. I'm not finna put anybody up on a stand and tell them to lie. Hey man, say this and say that. No, that's not how it goes down. We took an oath. And so if you know something to be not true, then you can't get up there and put up lies. Now, you can have your suspicion and you can poke holes in the other side's truth, right? Like if I'm asking you a question and you sit up there and say, I know he did it. Okay. How? Did you see him? Did you hear him? If I played 5 different recordings of his voice, would you be able to recognize which one was his, what time of day it was? My thing is to put that doubt in it as a defense attorney. And we're only talking about criminal cases right now. Yeah, but you see it all the time. And you see it in the movies. I can't even think of the movie. It's a good one where his client told him what he did. And so the attorney, knowing that his client wanted to take the stand, I forget what he ended up having another witness or something come in that basically prevented his client from getting up there and lying, basically cemented the case against his client. Now, I wouldn't do no crap like that. I would just recuse myself and tell it. Matter of fact, that just recently happened. An attorney had to recuse himself from a case because he said it was an attorney-client it was a conflict. It was a conflict of interest in continuing to represent his client. And the judge took that to heed and released the attorney from the case.
What's another one?
While you're thinking of that, that young woman, for those of you who are watching that case, watch her body language. I've talked about,
and we're talking. Which case are we talking about?
We're talking about Julio,
the girl. Yep.
And so, I've talked to you guys about body language during a trial and how a jury sees it. Watch her body language. She really isn't doing herself any service by her body language and how she's looking. She's not really looking engaged. She's looking kind of agitated or like this is bothering her. And you got to remember, I always tell people, you are not the audience. How you feel isn't important. What's important is how you can convey to someone else how you want them to feel. Plain and simple. That's the other person is the audience. If you want to borrow $100 from me, you can't walk up to me and say, give me $100 and get mad when I say no. Your messaging was bad. You conveyed it wrong. But if you came to me and said, hey, I need $100 and you put either a business plan or need and convinced me that I needed to give you that, that's what your body language does. Your body language convinces someone that they need to listen to you. And so be very careful about that.
Shout out RealLyfe Street Starz, nigga. Move it. Hey.